What if the most powerful prison ever built had no walls, no bars, no guards? What if it existed entirely within the mind? Every day we speak thousands of words. We hear thousands more. Most pass unnoticed. But words do more than describe reality. They shape it. They define it. And sometimes they control it. From the moment we are born, we enter a world of names. Everything is labelled: countries, religions, races, politics, even ourselves. And once something is named, it becomes easier to place into a category. Categories simplify reality, but they also limit it. Because when we name something, we don't merely describe it, we frame it. The language we use determines what we notice and what we ignore. Language is never neutral. The same event can be described in completely different ways. One side calls it liberation. The other calls it invasion. One calls it protection. Another calls it control. One calls it safety. Another calls it restriction. The facts may remain unchanged. But perception changes dramatically. The words become the lens through which reality is experienced. Control the lens, and you influence the conclusion. Throughout history, language has often been associated with power. Kings ruled through decrees, priests through scripture, lawyers through contracts, politicians through speeches. The written word has always carried immense influence, not necessarily because words are magical in themselves, but because they shape thoughts, and thought shapes action. Action shapes reality. Whether intentional or not, language becomes one of the most powerful forces in human civilization. Not because it casts spells, but because it creates belief, and belief moves people. Modern society depends on language. Contracts, laws, identity documents, registrations, administrative systems require definitions. The legal system does not interact with human experience directly. It interacts with categories, statuses, identities, legal persons. This distinction has generated countless debates and interpretations, some grounded, some speculative. But the underlying question remains fascinating. How much of modern life is governed by who we are, and how much is governed by how we are defined? Language can unite, but it can also divide. Left, right, conservative, liberal, religious, atheist, vaccinated, unvaccinated. Each label creates an identity, and identities often become tribes. Once a person strongly identifies with a label, criticism of the label feels like criticism of the self. Conversation becomes conflict. Nuance disappears, and division grows, sometimes without anyone noticing. Throughout history, fear has often travelled through language. Threats are described, dangers are named, enemies are identified. Sometimes those threats are real, sometimes exaggerated. But language determines how they are perceived. Words can calm, words can inflame, words can encourage reflection, or demand obedience. The battle for human attention has always been, in part, a battle for language. The purpose of this episode is not to make you fear language. It is to help you notice it, to become aware of the words you use, the words you hear, the labels you accept, the stories you inherit, because every system of control begins with an idea, and every idea arrives through language. The moment we become conscious of that process, something changes. We stop reacting automatically. We begin questioning. And in that moment, the spell begins to break.